It was early morning at LAX, and the gate for a New York flight was slowly filling up with passengers. Some were heading home after a long week, others were off to see family, and a few were just looking to escape on vacation. Everyone had their own story, their own reason for flying. John Miller, 45, walked up to the gate in jeans and a bright red t-shirt with President Donald Trump's face on it and the slogan, "Make America Great Again," printed boldly across the chest. He wasn't trying to cause a scene. It was just a shirt. He believed in what it said, and that was that. Boarding started, and John made his way to seat 22B, right by the window. He stashed his bag, sat down, and pulled out his phone. A few minutes later, the passenger for seat 22A showed up, a woman in her early 30s, dressed sharp and businesslike. Her name was Emily Thompson. The second she saw the shirt, her smile disappeared. She paused, then sat down stiffly. "You seriously wearing that on a plane?" she said, clearly annoyed. John glanced over, confused. Yeah. Is there a problem?" "That shirt makes me uncomfortable," she snapped. "That man's policies were harmful. I don't want to sit next to someone who supports him." John raised his hand slightly, keeping his voice calm. "Ma'am, it's just a shirt. I'm not here to argue with anyone." Emily didn't bother responding. Instead, she hit the call button and waved over a flight attendant. "Excuse me," she said. "I can't sit here. This man's shirt is offensive. Can I be moved?" The flight attendant blinked, clearly caught off guard. "I understand, ma'am," she said politely. "Let me check with the cabin crew and see what we can do." A few minutes later, the lead flight attendant approached John with a smile. "Mr. Miller," she said, "for your comfort, we'd like to offer you a complimentary upgrade to business class. If you'd grab your things and follow me?" John raised an eyebrow. "Wait, really? Sure, thank you." He stood up, grabbed his bag, and followed her to the front of the plane. A few minutes later, he was lounging in a wide leather seat, sipping a glass of champagne and watching other passengers shuffle by. Back in coach, Emily sat in her seat with her arms crossed, still visibly tense. The flight took off. John enjoyed his quiet, comfortable ride in business class, while Emily spent most of the trip staring out the window, probably wondering if she'd made too big a deal out of it. When the plane landed at JFK and passengers began deboarding, John thanked the flight crew with a smile. "Appreciate the upgrade," he said. "That ended up being a pretty sweet flight." "Our pleasure, Mr. Miller," the flight attendant replied. John chuckled. "Sometimes you get lucky just for minding your own business." Meanwhile, Emily walked through the terminal, her expression unreadable. Maybe she still felt justified, maybe not. But either way, John had gotten the better seat, and all because of a shirt. If you're into wild stories like this one, don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and be the first to see what crazy thing happens next.